Hey everybody, this is another blog entry post on what I think will be a really good topic, a serious one, but hopefully a really helpful one. I think this is my third or fourth time making this video. There's just so much information that I'm trying to pack in here and make it all coherent and relevant, so I will do my best to be really clear. So the topic for today is postpartum depression. It's not one that often men get to talk about, so my hope is that this video provides you guys some information, some answers to maybe some beginning questions that you have, and then what could be some next steps. I will say that I got a lot of my information today from the National Institute of Mental Health, their publications, statistics, research, what they've put out about postpartum depression. You can go to their website and see for yourself a lot of the same things that I will be talking about. So my assumption is if you're watching this video, there is a chance that you are concerned that your partner might be suffering with postpartum depression. The National Institute of Mental Health indicates that anywhere between 7 to 13% of women experience some form of postpartum depression, and they're considering that number, that estimate, to be fairly low because many women don't report or ever get treated for postpartum depression. So that's a little bit around or under 1 in 10 women are going to experience some form of postpartum depression. So for us men who love and care about our women, it's important for us to know what to be on the lookout for and what we can do. So in this video I'd like to talk about signs, symptoms, and next steps, what you guys could potentially do, what are your options, and I gotta say the biggest thing, the big disclaimer is if at any point you feel as though the safety of your partner or your child or you are at risk, if you're concerned about the safety of anyone, you need to not leave those people alone, your wife alone, and you need to get help immediately. So that means calling 911, going to the nearest emergency room, or calling the crisis hotline number. And for the Wyndham region, for Brattleboro, that number is 802-622-4235. 802-622-4235. I will say it again at the end of this, just so that you guys make sure you guys have that number. Not just because your partner is experiencing some form of postpartum depression does not mean that she is necessarily contemplating or has thoughts about wanting to hurt herself or the child, but that's sort of the worst case scenario that you want to be on the lookout for, and know what to do if that happens. So here are some of the signs and things you can be aware of, and these are going to be major changes in either mood or behaviors if things just really don't seem right. And this could be really hard for us guys to figure out because there are so many changes that happen when you have a baby and when you're trying to adjust to the new life that's been brought in, and the hormonal changes for both men and women that happen during this time are significant, especially for women. And so I guess what I'm trying to say pretty clearly is that beyond just the baby blues, beyond just the natural ups and downs, pressures and fears and worries and anxieties that come with having a child, postpartum depression is much more significant and impacting than that. And this lasts longer than a few days. This lasts for weeks or if left untreated, for months, and generally doesn't get better all on its own. Sort of needs some help. So the mood shifts or behaviors that you might be seeing could include things like changes in sleep routine. Sleeping is such a big issue in and of itself, but when there are times where she's able to get some sleep, if she's finding that she just can't get to sleep, or has trouble staying asleep when she's sleeping, or is sleeping too much, changes in appetite, eating too much or not enough, generally not taking good care of herself, low energy, the inability to find pleasure or happiness in things that once really were fun before for her. If she really liked going outside or playing music or a certain TV show or activity or people, if she liked to go out or stay in and just can't seem to find any happiness, that's really significant and important. Excessive crying or worrying, anxiety, fear beyond sort of the what's to be expected as being a new parent, anger, irritability, sort of being on edge and snaps easily, low frustration tolerance. These are all warning signs that you want to be aware of and pay attention to. And if you're saying like a few of these things sound like what you're seeing, what she might be going through, then it's important to start talking and expressing where you're coming from and offering support. Know that you don't have to do this on your own, and that there are options for help out there. There are many great organizations, both private and not-for-profit businesses that help people who are going through this. So it's important to listen to what your partner's saying, to pay attention to her needs and what she's trying to express to you, and that these aren't just, emotional outbursts and cries for attention, that if she's explaining to you or stating to you that she's going through some of these things, then, there's a possibility that she's really struggling and suffering with something very, very significant, and it's important to get her help and support. So it's also important, I know that I've talked about before, to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, to lean on the supports that you have, your friends and family, and make sure that your well is full and that you're taking care of yourself as well, because you can't be any help to your partner if you're not in the right frame of mind, if you're not balanced and doing well. So definitely keep taking care of yourself as well. You can talk with many, many people. There is a intake line with HCRS that you could call. There are many private organizations. There's Otter Creek and Matrix Associates, the Brattleboro Retreat, and there's many, many private psychiatrists and therapists that are all really excellent in this area. So talk with your spouse, your partner, about what she might be interested in. She can always talk to her OBGYN or primary care, any healthcare professional about her options and getting a referral. People that she trusts, talk with family members. My guess is that if there's someone in the family that hasn't gone through it, they might know somebody who has. So I'll give you guys the number one more time to the HCRS crisis line. But before I do that, I will say that in terms of treatment, there are many, many really great treatment options. Not only healthy eating and lifestyle choices, exercise is important. Those can have such a great impact on mood and depression. So it's important to eat right and exercise. But there's also really good psychopharmacology, really effective medications that can be helpful, and also really good therapy, psychotherapy that's out there. Things like cognitive behavioral therapy and dialectical behavioral therapy provide some great tools and skills that can be used to help combat the stress and anxiety and issues that come with postpartum depression. So, both of those are what's called evidence-based practice, so they've been researched and studied and shown to be helpful. So I will give the HCRS crisis line number one more time. It's 800-622-4235. I look forward to any comments you guys post below, and I'll do my best to try and respond to them. I hope that you found some of the answers you were looking for. Take care.